Yeah, hi, Mithun Kumar. Can you hear me? Please confirm in the chat. Just wait for a few more minutes, uh, like at least 5 more minutes. Let people join and we'll start the session. Okay. But in the meantime, can you confirm if you can hear me in the chat? Yeah. Just a second. Share the screen. Okay, perfect. Let me share the screen. Okay, it's already been 5 minutes, so let's start. So once again, welcome to the batch Linux Administrator demo session today. So it's like 3 days demo. Okay. So I'll be explaining in a moment. But yeah, so this is the first demo session for the batch. And yeah, so this is the support link. So if you have any doubts on anything related to the course, email or anything, you can drop an email to this one. And I'll come back to the slide at the last. So the general information is the first 3 sessions will be for free and anyone can attend. It will be the same Zoom link, sorry, same Zoho link. And from the fourth session, it will be only for the paid candidates. Okay. So only if you register for the course, you'll be receiving that as in email. First 2 sessions recording will be available in the YouTube channel. Okay. I'll be giving the YouTube channel in a moment. And the day 3 recording from that it will be available in the LMS of our Logic Labs. Okay. I'll be showing you that as well, portal. And please don't do any batch shifting or there is no refund either. And obviously, you guys might have logged in from. You guys might be already in this group. If not, this is the group. Okay. So this is the WhatsApp channel. Okay. So click on join chat. Or if you obviously you might have joined from your mobile. So just click on this link and we will use this link as well. if you're not part of this already, so why you're supposed to be part of this? Because like anything, let's say one day I'm not available, or some other day the session will be postponed, right? So let's say 30 minutes delay or some random reason, right? So it will be posted only on this channel. So this channel is dedicated for this particular course. Okay, so that's the channel, and some other like courses also it will be posted here, right? So the courses details, right? So that one, but the actual course, like content or everything, it will be posted here, but you cannot you cannot message things coming to your channel. Fine. So the all the recordings will be available in the graph feed. So I will show you now on the official site. Click on courses, and you see this is our course. And so once you, let's say you enroll for the course, you'll be seeing under your my courses section. Okay. So yeah, but that's the one. And this is the course. So let's continue. And quickly, the support team is available only between Monday to Saturday, and also the timing is 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. IST, and these are all the details. You can call to this number, or you can drop an email, anything, right? So if you want to, already the syllabus is uploaded, but if you really have a doubt on that, you can upload it here. So you can ask that. Okay. Right, so these are all the social media links. So this is the YouTube channel link. So even today's recording will be available in this. Yeah. Right. Right. So let's continue. Once again, welcome to the batch, and a little bit about myself. So Karthik here. So I have around almost 7 years of experience, and I done my RHCSA certification. Quite some time it's been. So yeah, I'm currently working as a platform support engineer in one of the MNC. And on day-to-day basis, I'm handling almost 10,000, like 9,800 plus servers. So that's a little bit a small brief about myself. And coming to the elephant in the room. So first and foremost, okay, so quickly, since only few members are there, so do you guys have any experience with Linux, or very new to Linux? How about Mithun, Mohammed, Zahir? Anyone? Can you mention in the chat? You're very new to Linux, or you know something about it? No experience. That's great. So because our core like member needed for our core audience for this course is that. Okay, so no experience is what is important, because you're kind of, let's say you're from non-technical background. Let's say I'm assuming you're already an experienced person. Then this is a very important course in your career, because uh, let me give a bit of background and we'll start this question. Okay, so let's say you're trying to join a company, or trying to switch to yeah, like, your role, or your like, different company itself. The first thing is you need to be excel in something, right? So it's not just like only the basic computer knowledge. Obviously, you can still survive using that, but it's a very niche. Nowadays, even a basic thing itself is a niche, right? So since almost everything is replaced by AI, so you cannot survive, or you cannot even be placed with just basic knowledge. So you should have an edge, right? So edge in the sense, like you should have one more thing which is not being or which is necessary in these days. Linux is so much important in these days, but if you have much more than that, That's great. Okay, so and this course is mainly focusing on that. Like it's not just about Linux; it's much more than and the mindset of a Linux admin. That's the key takeaway of this course for you guys. Like it's not just about solving, let's say, this issue or so. How you can prevent it in the future or how to approach that issue. That's the key knowledge. Because this thing, even any like even ChatGPT or anything can do, but how to think or how to mitigate that issue, right? So that's what, as a Linux admin, you should excel. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I will make sure that you guys understand that, and I will take in a very practical way. And by the way, there is an exam also for this. I will show you, and it's a purely practical exam. So there is no multiple choice questions. So that's right. So we'll see all those in a moment. Firstly, see from the start what is Linux. So Linux is an operating system, as simple as that. Then why companies prefer Linux? Why can't we just use a Windows machine like this, right? So this is good. Now this is great for an end user, right? So when it comes to enterprise and moving forward, I might mention these terms. I'll just give a bit of context what it means. When I mentioned enterprise, it's nothing but I might mention sometimes that it is a company or enterprise, both are same. Okay. And you have it's a Windows is like it's still dominating the operating system market out there. But why companies are not preferring this? Obviously, Windows is there, Windows Server is there, but the majority of the companies, almost like 70 date or more than that, I think used by companies. Okay. Why? Because like, Linux has a very huge upper hand uh, on top of Windows. So Windows is good, but when it comes to enterprise, it is very bad. Okay, it will be escalated right away, very bad. That much bad it is. Why I will tell you. Why? Because Linux is very portable. The size of the OS is very less, and to be frank, even you can create your own operating system. That's insane, right? So you can literally that's the main reason companies prefer them. Okay, so they can tinker the operating system as per their requirement. Just like that, they will have which one? Their own customized operating system. That's great, right? So that's also one of the reason. Like that, you have 10 plus reasons. Portability is there, scalability, right? So it's a very lightweight operating system and the compatibility, right? So almost every application, because Linux is not just a new technology like let's say uh, like even ChatGPT. So that's like it's been 3 years, right? So whereas Linux, it's been there for almost 32 years, which is insane, right? So it's not a very new technology. It's been there for ages, and companies are already adopted, and it's a very mature environment as well. Okay, so that's the reason Linux is so important. Okay, so now, all right. Then why companies prefer this? So as I told, it is important and it is necessary. They already adopted to it. So you know, it's like okay, let's say you joined a company that's X, and you are not going to go there and change or go there and learn a new thing. It's already being used there. You're just going to adopt to it, right? So that's the main thing which is important, right? So yeah, that's the first thing. And who came up with this language? It's like a one guy or a multiple teams like that. So language is coined by get my history problem. So let's add one who came up with Linux. Okay, so can you hear me now? Voice is very low. One second. Checking. Okay, so fine. So this he is the one who came up with Linux, and he is not the only person to do it. So Linux is a collaborative operating system. So now that's a very new thing. You might have never ever came across like this, right? Because here you see almost like 17,000 plus members came together and they contributed to this kernel. Again, this is not the entire operating system. This is the kernel of the operating system, right? So what is the kernel? That is the heart of the operating system. It's without this, the OS, like let's say the cursor, even this is an element, the start menu. I'm just giving an example. Okay, so this element doesn't work, or if you click something, it doesn't take to that particular screen because this kernel is not working as expected. Because it does the disk management, process management, user, everything, almost everything. Kernel without passing through the kernel, your system doesn't exist. That's how important the kernel is, and that's what these many people came across and contributed. Again, it's not the from the day one, like 17 plus thousand members came across. It's been gradually, and it's a very active repository. So this is called as repo. We'll see this. Okay, so but yeah, you see, even 3 days back, someone updated this. Even today, someone might have updated, right? So like that, this is a very active uh, repo, and this is one of the huge repo out there. You see how many commits are there? 1.3 million commits are there, which is insane, right? So that's how it is. And yeah, so he's the one, Linus Torvalds, hence the name Linux. Okay, is there any Unix-based operating system prior to Linux? Yes. So Linux itself is based on Minix, M-I-N-I-X, Minix. Okay. So before this, there used to be Unix. Unix is the, like, let's say, godfather of all this. So you had Minix, Solaris, so HPUX, and IBM AX. So like that, it's a very huge. So in between all these, there can be called as Linux. And it kind of dominated from the early days itself. Okay. Because it is a very optimal operating system out there, and it's an open source. That's the important thing. Whereas let's say from the first day itself, Windows, even now it is a paid one, but obviously you get some pirated copy out there, or even Windows themselves give a free version. But if you want to activate it and get the full features, you need to pay for the actual license for the lifetime or subscription. Many methods are there, but Windows is a local source paid. Whereas so line. So firstly, what is closed source and open source we'll discuss. So closed source means when you edit this menu, start menu. Okay, let's say this menu. I don't want. I want to rename this general to, let's say, mine. Can I do that? No. Okay, so even let's say I work in Microsoft, still I cannot do it because this is a closed source code, source code. Only Microsoft, and that too only that particular team will have the full privilege to edit, or they have the source code. You don't own it, or you cannot even see it, right? Like that. Is that the same thing in Linux? No. You are right away you have an exposure to the kernel, which is the most important one. Also, you can create your own UI. Then you have the freedom to do whatever you want. You can give whatever name you want. Okay, again, this is a as an example I'm giving. You can literally customize to everything. Hence, the companies choose language, right? So they customize as per their requirement. Obviously, the initial setup will be a bit slow, but down the line, it will be like uh, as per their requirement, right? So that's what it is. Okay, fine. So now, um, all right. So let's see. Actual weapons. So before proceeding further, so we have an important acronym called as RHCSA. So that's full form is the Red Hat Certified System Administrator. Firstly, what is Red Hat? That itself, you guys might not know, right? So Red Hat, as I told, Linux is open source. So obviously, anyone can create their own operating system. So Red Hat is one of the early adopters of Linux, and they created their own operating system called as Red Hat. Okay, so there is a set of developers, and they created their own operating system, and this is a site called as DistroWatch. Okay, so why I went to this site is here there are multiple distributions of Linux, which means anyone can create their own Linux, right? So it's like let's say the UI is changed, the kernel is modified as per the requirement, right? So like that, they modified almost everything in this. Like all these are different operating systems. And can you guess how many operating systems are there? Anyone? How many Linux versions are out there? Just give a wild guess. Let's see. Check. So in this list, you see 100. Is it only 100? Anyone? Just give a guess, a random number. Anyone? You don't know. Fine. So it is almost 1,000 plus operating systems are there. 1,000, which is insane, right? So people created their own operating system, like 1,000 plus communities are there. So they created their own version as per their requirement. You see, this Endeavor code is a very good one. Even I use this one. So if you go to their official site, it almost looks like Windows. Okay? The UI and it has its own color theme. Right? So like that, and their own community. So you see, it's almost like Windows Mini. Right? Yeah, like that, but you can customize every element. So yeah, you have these many options. And here, if you search for Red Hat, it will be deep down at 63, 63. It is okay. Red Hat is not that popular. Why we are seeing Red Hat or why companies prefer it? So why? Because this is a community-driven site. So you should not take this ranking as a uh, like as a standard, right? So this is just for the community base, and whichever is having a very good UI and very good community support, that's the one which will be in the top. Whereas Red Hat is purely focused on enterprise. So obviously it will be bit less. Okay, so that's the reason. And Red Hat as a company, it's a very huge one, guys. You might have heard Ansible, right? So Ansible itself is owned by Red Hat. Okay, and Red Hat is owned by IBM. So IBM acquired them a few years back. So yeah. So if you see the products, see all the products. You see Red Hat have their own AI, and they have this Red Hat Enterprise. Nothing but your operating system. So you can screenshot it as called Red. Their ground floor. This is the one which they came across, or they kind of created their own operating system. Now, this is purely focused on enterprise. Now, they're all like companies. So, which companies, literally every company's needs or operating system. Made us okay. Then did they give it for free? No. Obviously, for companies it will be paid, but compared to Windows, it is very less. So because they also need to make some profit margin, right? So compared to Windows, because Windows even now it's almost like 6,000 plus you need to pay for the license if you really want a license. Whereas in Red, now you can use it. Okay, so we will use it in the future. But the point is, it is purely focused for enterprise or built for enterprise, and it is very good. Okay, so that's the fine. Now, it's as I told, it's not the only product which they build. So they have their own like cloud, which is called as OCP, Open Source Cloud Platform, and yeah, it's the and Ansible as I told. And you see these many services they have: AI, automation, cloud, virtualization, right? So the application servers, you have JBoss, which is owned by which is part of Java, but this JBoss enterprise application is owned by Red Hat. Proprietary they own. Right? So like that, they have their own suite of applications. Right? A very huge company, and they introduce their own certification. Certification CSA in full form is Red Hat Certified System Administrator. So why that certificate is particularly why we are seeing this, you might ask. So because there are so many certificates out there, why only Red Hat? Because we saw the 73 percentage, right? It's been used by Linux. In that, almost 60 percentage plus is only relevance. Kind of it's a monopoly, right? 60 above 50 itself is insane, but 60 plus it's purely only Red Hat. Why companies flock to only Red Hat? Because they have a very good support system. So the support engineers and their SLA, everything is very good. That's the reason Red Hat is still in the game for the past 25 plus years. They introduced in 1997 or 8, I think. So from that till now, it's a very huge call. Okay, fine. And it RHCSA has its own credibility. So if you mention this in your resume, it will be good and it will be recognized for the companies. Okay. So yeah. Now these are all the roadmap. So firstly, you have user management, disk management, process, server troubleshooting, and basic network. So we will see one by one. So user management, is it important for an operating system or a sysadmin firstly? Yes. So when it comes to operating system, without that, and like it totally depends. Even in our local system, you will have multiple users. But do we create a multiple users and ask our friends and family to use that particular account? No. We will share the same account, and maybe we will create a guest user, right? So whereas in companies you cannot do like that, right? So obviously this against the like individual information. So that's the reason each user have their own home directory and their own email ID. Everything will be their own data. Okay. So That's the and like we'll see each and everything related to user management. Okay, so how to create a user, how to manage it, how to troubleshoot if it is not working, right? So literally every phase of user management will be discussed. So the next one is the disk management. And even this one, let's say you are from Windows background. So disk management we really take it for granted in Windows, right? Because we will have different partitions. But do we create a separate partition just for application or just for documents, movies, some other? No, we literally dump everything in a single partition. And I don't blame you, right? So that's how it is because you don't, no one does that. Okay, so it's not just no one does that. Just create their own separate partition and only there they will. Whereas here in like in terms of enterprise, each and every small data, it might be a simple text file, but if it has a private key or a very confidential information, that's a very secure data. It should not be leaked or say copied to multiple parts, right? So many things that need to be considered when it comes to disk management. So it's a very important topic for as well. As a sysadmin, you must know how it works. Okay, that's your disk management. And the next one is the process management. So what it is? So process is nothing but each and everything is a process, right? So let's say if you go to task manager and you see Chrome, Notepad, settings, PDF reader which I'm using. Even this task manager itself is a process, right? So literally, as per like just like we as a human being, what we do, we see something and the color and the smell of it, and let's say if you touch, so each and every senses. What if so once you accumulate all that information, you form an image or you form something out of it, right? So similarly, the system it cannot do that. It's not human at the end of it, right? So it will at the end it will create a reference point, and each and everything is a structured. So you need to let's say if you created a document or if you're typing something, the system knows. Okay, so if this guy is trying to give a signal for this key or this D. So let me print it. It's a very systematic way. It doesn't do with an intuition at all, right? So it doesn't speculate. So maybe he's typing D or F. I don't know. Like that, it doesn't. As a human being, we will do, but the system doesn't, or it will never do. So it will think as let's say in AI models, it does think, but it cannot like replicate what as a human being we do, right? That's the thing. A structured way, and each and every process has its own instructions. So what it should do next. That's very important, right? So without that, uh, like even as a human, few things we ourselves won't be understand. So what we should do next. So like that, the process management it is. So let's say if a process is stuck, if a process is like how to initiate it, how to troubleshoot it, everything we'll discuss on this topic. Next thing is the entire server troubleshooting. So what if the server itself went down? Means the server is not turning up. Means like power down, but it is not fully shutting down. Right. So how you will fix it? And if the server is, if you press restart, server is not restarting. And why it is not restarting? And which process is creating that issue? Everything will be analyzing in the server troubleshooting, and we should make sure that this issue doesn't appear again. That is the important. Okay, so out of all, that is the important thing. So we should make sure it should not happen again. Okay, so that's your server troubleshooting. And you'll see quite a lot, and that's not part of your exam, guys. Okay, so it's like not just RHCSA will be discussed. Obviously, Once you're done with the batch, you are very much eligible for the RHCSA exam, but we will be seeing much more than just RHCSA. Okay. So the next one is the basic networking. So how to, again, why I mentioned as basic, because networking itself is a huge topic and it's a huge subject. Okay, so we need a separate, like separate batch, or it will be taking months to complete networking because it's a very, very huge thing. So, but as I said, you need not know everything out of this one. So only the important one we'll be discussing in this basic, like setting up the IP. Again, if IP is not working, what you should do. If the service itself is not working, how you should restart that, etc. Like that. Okay. That's your basic. Next. So this is the syllabus part. So there are quite a few points. I'll quickly go through and yeah, we'll be done for the day. So as I told, we'll be doing the introduction in the next session. And if I just mentioned RHEL 8. So why? Because companies are still using RHEL 8. Okay, so current version is RHEL 10 itself is being released, but companies right away they won't adopt. Okay, so they need a confirmation that okay, this can be proceeded, or this is a very stable version. So obviously they are migrating from RHEL 7 to 9 or to 8, but it's not RHEL 7, it's obsolete. Means it's not being used anymore. Now, RHEL 8 and 9 is what is being used, and we'll be using the RHEL 8.4 version. Okay, so and now you might ask, okay, what is the major difference between RHEL 8 and 9, and why I'm not using 9? Obviously, I'm okay to use 9 also or 8, but don't use RHEL 7. Okay, so that's the fine. So the next one is essential or advanced Linux. So you guys might already know. If not, Linux is all about Linux. Why? So Linux is a CLI based on in GUI is also there, but what is GUI and CLI? These are all actually types of GUI to form is graphical. It's GUI is command. GUI it's good. There are three types of interfaces. In this, what is graphical user interface, and the one which you see right now is a very good GUI example. It is nothing but your Windows. A Windows operating system is a purely graphical elements. You see there is an icon here, right? So you're hovering your mouse. So this mouse cursor itself is a graphical element, right? So like that, each and everything is a graphical element is there in the Windows. Again, it's not just Windows. Well, Linux has its own, especially RHEL has its own GUI, and even Mac OS. And by the way, Mac OS is also based on Linux. It's over. And CL, command line interface. Even this we have three all the in Windows. What is the command line interface? You go to command prompt, go to start and type CMD. You'll be seeing this command. Yeah. Yeah. Can I type date directory? No, cannot simply do that. Why? Because this doesn't work like that much easily. Right? So you should give the exact command. Then only it will take. So let's say I want to go inside C drive. Can I double click this and it will go inside? No. This mouse cursor itself is a GUI element. So it doesn't do anything. Maybe you can select this and copy right? So you see, I get bomb, but it doesn't do anything. So anything affecting the system or interacting with the system. So then what I should do, I should type the specific command called as dir, and I'm seeing the directory. But, like what are all the files and directories and this. Like that, we have say every thing has its own use case, right? So without the specific command, can I type dirs? It doesn't. So only you should type the specific command, then only to take it. That's the good and bad at the same time. So command. So without knowing, you cannot do it. That's the good side. But the bad side is few commands you should get used to. Why I'm specifically mentioning get used to is it's not that hard. So right away I'm saying it's not very hard or literally it's easy and straightforward. It's not like some random language or right. So this is straight away. Let's say user add means we're adding a new user. That's it. Right. So it's not some random. So like that, you'll have a lot of commands in Linux, and totally it's almost like it by default. Okay, so I'm not saying if you install some application there will be much more. So by default, in the RHEL 8 or 9, it will be around 2,500 lines commands. And that's a huge number, right? So don't be overwhelmed and think that okay, you should remember all the command. No, no one in the entirety of your sysadmin journey will use every command. Right? So there is no use case for that. The maximum you might use in your entirety of your career itself, maybe 500 command. That itself is a huge number, but I'm just putting a ballpark number. Okay, so yeah, fine. But all about commands is what the whole batch is about. So we'll be discussing quite a lot of commands. Okay, especially the essential, advanced, and yeah, those commands. Okay. And installation of the operating system. This is the important thing. So we have two routes. So and the lab is for free. First thing, and the lab you are supposed to set it up. I will show you anything. And if you are stuck, I will help you. So I will take a control of your screen and I will guide you, or I will install myself on your system. Okay? But your system itself will become as a LAN if you are using VM. Okay. But if you don't have your own laptop, let's say you own a company's laptop, um, let's say you don't own a laptop which is that compatible, like it's a let's say 10 years old or much older than a very old laptop, so that will be very slow, right? So that in that case, you can opt in for cloud, AWS. That also I will show you how to initiate a system or a virtual machine and all that. Okay, but installation part you'll be seeing tomorrow. It will tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow. We will discuss. Because tomorrow also we have few things to cover. So yeah, day after tomorrow we will discuss. Okay, the next important thing is called as performance monitoring. So how we are going to monitor the performance? Firstly, what is performance? Where you should go to the task manager, performance, and what are all the fields you see here? Here there are five core components of the system. Very important component. Without this, the system doesn't work. And CPU, memory, GPU. This so any system, not just Windows. I'm just giving an example as Windows. Any system you take, without a CPU, it cannot process anything. Without memory, it cannot add a buffer, and again, it cannot process anything. So, because memory is the fastest storage. Okay, so why I'm saying that we will discuss later. And what is GPU? So, anything which needs a graphical uh, like requirement. In this case itself, there is a graphical acceleration. Even your Google Chrome needs a graphical acceleration. Okay, so Go to my settings and performance. And here you will see GUI or graphical. Use graphics application. So if you have an internal GPU, that's great. If you have an external, that's even better. Okay, so that's your GPU and your disk. So this is nothing but your storage disk. Now, in my case, I have three disks, separate disks. Okay, so this is a hard disk. This is SSD. This is again an SSD. So like that, it totally depends on how many storage you have. So it's your call, and yeah, so it depends on which mode of interface also is there. I will explain that in detail while we set up the mission. That time, if I explain, it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so the next one is obviously the internet. So, or network. So you have Ethernet or Wi-Fi or anything. Right? So obviously, uh, it depends on the company or your own laptop. Means it depends on the adapter you have. Right? So everything is there in the system. Right? So all these five, like, can we monitor this? So why we need to monitor in the first place is all of a sudden, if there is a huge spike, yeah, let's say right away it shoot up to 100%. What happens? Meaning, like, what if it shoots up to 100, or memory is 100, or CPU is 100, or any one of these is 100? What happens to the system? And someone will chat. Let's see. Anyone? No. Sorry. So, um, crash. Exactly. So your system will crash, or it won't respond to any of your input. Let's say you're uh, pressing something in your keyboard, or you're clicking somewhere in your using your cursor, it doesn't do anything because it is stuck due to that process or due to that application or some random reason service, right? So like that, yeah, five core components you must monitor 24 bar 7, especially in an enterprise. Enterprise means company. So in an company, you must monitor. Now you might ask, okay, we are talking in a volume of 9,000 servers, or let's say 90,000 servers of the very, very huge number, but that's fine. How we are supposed to monitor 90,000 servers? That's insane. Like, do we need, because one server I can just open this window and monitor. That's good. But can we monitor 90,000 servers? That's impossible, right? So that's the reason you have. You have a solution for this. So whenever it reaches a threshold, the threshold values, let's say in this case for memory, 90. So when it reaches 90%, automatically it should shoot up an email or inbox or to that respective team. Okay, your memory is high. Just look into it. And if it reaches 100%, it will crash. As simple as that, right? So like that, e- even for memory, CPU, disk, network. The network, it should be a throughput value, which is, we will discuss that later. Okay, network doesn't work like it reaches 100%. You see, it doesn't reach 100%. So by the way, it is a different thing. So the send queue, receive queue, and all we need to discuss. But the remaining things, disk, memory, CPU, even GPU, it might reach its threshold. Right? So like that, you should create an algorithm, monitor. And how many monitoring tools are there? It's a very huge thing, because without like setting up a monitoring tool, that company itself doesn't exist. Any company you take, even a small startup, they might have 100 servers. Even that, they should have a monitor, or they must have a monitor. Okay, so that's how important it is. So there are a lot of monitoring tools out there. So very famous ones are Grafana, ELK Stack, and ELK Stack being its full form is Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. All together, it is called as ELK Stack. Okay? And you have it's digital APM, application performance monitor, and you have which is a log monitor. So you have suffix, and it's a huge list, guys. Okay, so if I just name all the tools, it will be like 50 plus, even much more than that. So, but these are all the very famous tools out. Okay? So Prometheus is there, and it's a very huge list. ITRS like that. Okay, but you should know at least one of the monitoring tool. So I will make sure to give at the last one of the tools example. Because again, we are not going to see the entirety of the tool because that's a huge thing, right? So you should know every thing, KPIs and like how the metrics works, everything. Obviously, it's a very easy and straightforward tool, but we'll be seeing new rate. Okay, the new rate for this tool will be discussed because this is a free tool and open source, and easily you can access this one. So I will be showing you already how to set up the alert. But having a monitoring tool knowledge is a must. So yeah, it's a necessity. You must know that, no other choice. Right. So the next one is, as we discussed before, user management. So we'll be manipulating the users, like create, delete, modify, setting the password, all the usuals, right? So setting a password, and if the password itself is not working, how to do that, right? So and one more interesting thing called as super users. Okay, so just like as similar to admin, but you are the one who is giving the access. So it's not right away an admin user. So only if he uses that particular command, he can opt for it. Only for that command, he will become as a root user, right. So it might be a bit confusing now. So, but it's a very interesting way of approach. Very user friendly as well. Right away, you can make use of it. That's great. Okay, so yeah. And the next thing is the basic OS concepts. So again, the bare minimum, right? So you must know these, no other choice. So user like using the essential tools and commands and how to do grep. So grep in the sense searching for a specific term. Let's say you want to search admin in one of the login, right? So like a basic things. So you must know all these basic knowledge and accessing a server remotely. So now, whereas okay, what is accessing remotely, right? So firstly, your servers will be, is it located in India or somewhere? Obviously, no, right? It will be located in a very cold place, especially Canada or maybe Japan or some other places, right? So Asia means mostly the cold places, and mostly Canada and Russia, right? So so many servers are hosted there. So obviously you are accessing that server from India using internet to that server you are going to connect. And so you're remotely connecting to it. Okay. So how it works, and from the basics we'll be discussing about the SSH. So we SSH is called a secure shell, how it works and how important it is. And so without SSH, it cannot do anything, right? So that's how important it is. Because without connecting to the machine, you cannot do anything, right? So that's how it is. So yes, we will be discussing that. Very important session. Very important knowledge as well, right? So that's the one. And the next one is archive. So how you will archive? Firstly, what is archive? storing an old information, which is not needed as of right. So, and what are all the things you will archive in an enterprise? It's not like your memory or your photos, right? Obviously not. So, in terms of servers, it will be logs. Okay, so each and everything will be logs. If you do a click, it will be log. If you open an application, it will be an event log. If you that application doesn't work, that will be an event. Right? So each and every action which is performed in your system, it is being captured. Okay, so even now, if I open event viewer in Windows system, here also you see Windows logs. Everything will be logged. If I open, how many times I open that application, right? So there will be a hardware log, software log, everything literally will be logged. So understanding the log itself is an art. That's how it is. We'll be discussing those in very detailed data, but that's what. Basically, you'll be archiving the logs most and how it is done and how much it is compressed, all that. And again, file manipulation, file and directory management. So create, delete, copy, move, remove, rename, right? All the basic manipulation. The next one is create hard link and soft links. Now, how to create a hard link and soft link. Okay, so we'll be discussing that. And the next one is the file permissions. So in Windows also you have read, write, execute permissions, but in Linux it is approached in a very easy way. In Windows it is a bit complex, whereas here it is very easy and straightforward. We'll be discussing that. And the next one is the system admin activities. So what are all the activities on not on day-to-day basis, but you must know these activities. So let's say your booting procedure, which is what we're going to discuss in the next session. So if you're booting, like let's say your system is starting and suddenly it restarts again. Let's say one time you did allow it, okay, let it restart, you get it. Still it's again restart. So it reaches to a point and it is doing a boot. Means again and again it will reach to that point. It doesn't proceed further. Why? And at which stage it is stuck. So if you have the booting procedure knowledge of it, you can diagnose it. Just like that, no, we cannot say, okay, after fifth time it will be starting. We cannot say that, right? So that's the reason you need to say which booting process or which procedure it is stuck. Right? So we'll be discussing this tomorrow. Okay. And how to enter the boot process. So that's again tomorrow we'll be discussing. And how to identify the CPU and memory intensive processes and kill. So again, it may sound a bit simple, but it's a bit complex. Depends on how many applications your system is running. And disclaimer is it's not just only one. Right? So it will be your one server will be running at least 5 to even 10 applications. And it's not just simple applications like, let's say, Chrome or something. It will be a very huge, literally a full-fledged application. So you need to discuss, or you need to discuss with your team, or with you need to check the knowledge base, right? So exactly which process can be killed and whether in that instance it can be killed off. That's the decision you should take, right? So how it is done, all that will be discussed. Again, it's a practical one, guys. So not only this, almost everything is practical. Yeah. And the next one is manage tuning profiles. This one we will discuss because it's not that much a major of a topic, but we will discuss for sure. And the next one is locate and interpret the system log files and journals. As I mentioned, understanding a log file itself is an art. You should, it's a skill. So must understand it. We will be discussing all the logs, how many types are there, how to understand it, and how to interpret everything we discuss. So this is also that. And how to start the service, stop, check, diagnose if it is not starting, right? So operate every system services. And the next one is how to transfer the files between different servers from your Windows to Linux, from Linux to Linux, right? So all that. And the next one is server patching. So firstly, a patch, what it means. If a server, okay, let me give a basic example. So let's say you own an Android phone or iPhone or Android TV, it doesn't matter, anything, uh, your handheld devices, let's say. Okay, so in that, you are opening one application, let's say dialer, call dialer. So once we click call dialer, it opens, closes, and again it opens. So it should open right away, right? But it closes and opens it. So that's a bug, right? So it is that might be some exception error, or only in your device it might be happening, or it might be a widespread issue, right? So what the developers will be doing is they'll be creating a patch to fix this error. It's a bug actually. It's not a, let's say it's not an issue with your phone. It might be with some other one, right? So they'll be releasing a patch schedule each and every 3 month once. They'll be um, patching the server, right? So we'll be discussing in terms of server how it is done, right? So what is the patching schedule? All that we'll be discussing. So the recording will be available in the portal. Sorry if I butcher your name. So it will be available here. Okay, so this one. So this is the actual portal link, logiclabstech.com. So here, once you create your account, you'll be seeing my courses. Okay? So I'm just showing you my previous course like this. Okay, so you'll be accessing the recordings like this. And by the way, if this timing is not fine for you, let's say this timing, right? So at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST, if this is not fine for you, you're having some work or you need to log in for your office work, then you can opt in for this previous batch. So it's the same content. The content doesn't change. So you can opt in for this one as well. Okay. I'll be giving the link for you. Current batch. Let's come back to the topics. So that's the server patching. Only for today's recording, it will be available there. It's not the entire batch. It won't be available. So today's recording will be available in the YouTube channel for sure. Today's one it will be available like this. Okay. Yeah, you just go to this link YouTube channel. It will be available after a few hours, maybe around 11 p.m. 2 hours from now. And sorry for increasing, sorry, going beyond the time. Just give me 2 more minutes. I will complete this. Okay. So the next one is the disk management. So how to manipulate the disks, like again, create, modify, remove, extend, size, reduce, all that we'll be discussing here. Okay, very, very, very important, guys. As a sysadmin, only you can do this. Okay, so that's the, so yeah, you see, and formatting with a specific file system formats, diagnosing if it is having an issue, and it has Stratus and video, which is a advanced usage of LVM. And LVM full form is logical volume management. We'll again have a very, very deep discussion on these. Only you have the privilege to do this. Since you are the root user, only you can do this. Okay? And security. When it comes to your mobile device itself, you first thing you'll do, first thing you'll consider is security. Similarly, any company, firstly, they will look for the security aspect of the operating system. First, their company company's data as well as their client data will be relied. Totally, they'll be relying on that operating system. So if that itself, if there is a flaw in the security aspect, that's a huge issue, right? So like that, uh, the security aspects of the police, like the key based authentication, firewall for the network, and there is a two levels of firewall. One is network layer and one in the application layer. How it's done, how to set it up, and file permissions. And there is one more concept called as SC Linux, security enhanced Linux, how it is done, and how to restrict the user to run only specific commands and only specific path. He cannot go to some random path. Only to the path he can go, copy, exit. That's it. Okay, so he is restricted to move only certain things, right? So that also we would see how to manage the network. As I told, IP configuration, host name, network services restart, we'll be discussing. And last and foremost, the containers, right? So what is a container? We will be discussing in tomorrow's session. What is virtualization and containerization? That's two important major topics we'll be discussing tomorrow. And containers are not the future, it's already there. It's a present now. Because almost many companies are migrated to containers. Why they did? That's a very, very important question you should know. And yeah, so we'll be discussing Podman, which is partially owned by Red Hat. It's not. It's an open source actually software, but it's partially owned by Red Hat. How it is done and how to set it up, everything we'll be discussing last containers. And one more thing called as vSphere. So this is the VMware workstation. Okay, so this is the UI. Okay, so it and by the way, you will never see this in your work environment. Why? Because their same VMware is used, but it's a VMware vSphere. It's a separate operating system. Okay, so your vSphere. Yes. So it does looks like this, and it is called as ESXi, VMware ESXi, and that's a dedicated OS bus. Will be installing on top of literally a server. Okay, you see, Dell Optiplex server. So you'll be installing on top of that one. So we'll be seeing at last. I'll be showing you how it is done. Okay, so that's pretty much it in terms of syllabus part. So announcement is this is not a free course. So this is a paid one, and the course fees is around 4,720 INR and 57 US dollars. And the duration is 4 weeks, I mentioned, and 4 weeks of content is there. And based on your doubts, right? So it will extend. So minimum of 4 weeks, maximum of how many doubts you ask, and all the doubts are written because it's not like let's say you're as someone mentioned, Mithun, yes, Mithun mentioned he has no experience. Is important, right? So if you don't have any experience with Linux, we'll be starting from the basics. From virtualization, we are coming. It's again, you will never see any of the companies give this knowledge transfer. Okay, so they won't come from scratch. No one, even though you are a fresher, they won't treat you as a basic understanding. You might not even have. You might be from a different background. Let's say you're from mechanical or electric. You never know computers. Still, they will treat you and they will train you only on things which they want the access. Sorry, they want you to work on. Only that. But we'll be seeing a very wider knowledge and a very important one because these are all the basics and intermediate level. So if you are very strong in it, you can literally crash the everything, right? So let's say your interviews, you can crack everything, right? So you can let's say after the course, you are placed in some company, you are literally a job ready. Literally, you can start working, right? So that's how. So and the timing will be on every day, like Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. highest. And if you have any doubts, please do reach out to these like support numbers and the support at the rate of. Right. This is the mail ID. And any doubts in the course part, guys? Anyone? And it's already late. So you can hold on to that question maybe tomorrow you can answer. And tomorrow also it is a demo session, guys. So please do join. Tomorrow we'll be discussing about the virtualization and containerization. Also the booting process. So please do join and ask the doubts. Maybe let's say 2 more minutes. Can anyone have any more doubts in terms of the course? Anyone? So this is the link. Okay. So yes, it's the same time. So it will be like 8 p.m. highest. If you are from US, it will be like just 1 hour prior to this. I know it's a bit early for you, but yes. And obviously, every day's recording will be available. Okay, so let's say you cannot make to a session. Obviously, you can see the recording and reach out to me. Me in the sense, you can drop an email to the support link. They will connect it. So it will be resolved the issue for sure. Right. So yeah, guys. Then, so if there is no doubts, thanks all. See you tomorrow at the same time. Thanks all. Have a good day.